This is just going to be an unscripted video where I showcase a few cubes that I haven't really made a review about, and I don't think I'll make a full-blown review of any one of them. I'm going to start with the least interesting one and save the best one for last. So this one is the Meilong 5M. I got this one via lucky draw. Ideally I would have wanted a stickerless cube, but I don't think any stickerless cubes will involve in a lucky draw. Plus, even if there were, it's all packed in a box with no indication. And what I've done to this, obviously I changed the stickers, so now it has a much cleaner look. These were actually all really old generation Cheongshu 505 stickers, and the cube was much bigger than this one. So even though these stickers weren't meant to be full-fitted stickers, but when you stick them onto the Meilong 5, they really look full-fitted and it's really nice. And they were also originally square stickers. I had to cut them a bit to fit the shape of the Meilong 5. And for this cube I also did a loop job, which is just the Aochuang loop combo of Dignitas, Gravitas and DNM. I think this combination works really well with the Meilong series in general. I've done it to the 3x3 and 4x4 and main both of them at some point in time. For this cube, I don't see it becoming my main, but it's still a really satisfying cube. But the second cube here is actually the Aofu WRM prototype. So if you have watched my Aofu WRM review, you will have known that I also have the final cube, and I actually did a comparison of the two of them inside the video to show that the issue faced with some of the prototypes where the second layer turns a little bit too easily is actually fixed on the final version. I stacked magnets into the second layer, so now actually the magnets are stacked into the third layer, but like there's magnets on both sides. I stacked it on the side that faces the second layer, so now the second layer's attraction to the third is much stronger than before. Yeah, I can show you the stacked magnet. And since this cube is partly disassembled, I might as well show you the other mod, which I think you have probably already seen this coming. Yep. Cube has acquired two mods. So in addition to magnet stacking, it also has a magnetic core, but actually there's a third mod involved that happened because the magnetic core was slightly too big and it actually touched the torpedoes of all the midges. So whenever I turned it 45, there was actually increased resistance and the pieces would bulge out a little bit. So that's when I did a third mod to this cube, which is just to sand the bottom of the torpedoes to basically make the torpedoes a little bit smaller so that there's more empty space inside the cube and it no longer clashes with the magnetic core. And the final result is a cube that is almost similar to the final version, except that the magnets are just stronger all around and the cube is a bit slower and heavier all around. And finally, this one is really, I think if you have followed my Instagram, you already know what this cube really is, but I've not shown it before on YouTube. So this is the Aochuang 12. So what's the difference between this and the original magnetic core Aochuang I've made is that the corners use a rod magnet instead of a small disc, so it extends way deeper into the cube. And the magnetic core itself is much smaller, so the point at which the corner attracts the core is actually much closer in, which in theory it should lead to an attraction over a wider angle. However, there was another effect that I've noticed that I didn't really see coming at first, which is that the corners would actually repel each other slightly because they all have the same pole facing inside. So as a result, this cube actually isn't as stable as I originally envisioned, and isn't as stable as the previous magnetic core Aochuang that I've made. For differentiation purpose, I'm going to call that the Aochuang 11 and this one the Aochuang 12 because the differences and of course both of these cubes are just straight up modded after the Gun 11 and the Gun 12 respectively when I first did the mod. So this cube is not really as stable as my earlier Aochuang 11, but at the same time it is a lot faster. So one issue I had with my Aochuang 11 was that I felt that the speed was okay, but it's a little bit slower than what I would like. It made the cube really nice to use for competition purposes, but for practice purposes the slow speed does require more effort to turn and makes it more tiring to solve on the cube. Whereas this one is just really fast and not as stable, but still really stable. And overall, this is pretty much my new main. Partly because I don't have that anymore, and partly because I think this one is a little bit better.